cinches tight. Horses kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.
Howdy there, I'm Matt McKinley and we're burning daylight.
In the saddle till the job's done right.
Welcome to Burning Daylight, the only podcast for the working cowboy. How did you get a chance to listen to the Corbett Wall episode yet?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and shoot, I wrote down the number and called my congressman and both of our Democratic senators and let them know my opinion. So
yeah,
but,
how did you like that? I know you listen to Corb pretty pretty religiously.
Oh, I thought it was great. I mean, I think he's spot on. And there's no way of looking around the whole fact that there's a huge discrepancy in the cattle markets. And, like you, I mean, I'm less government is better, but,
Yeah.
The government has not enforced what rules are on the books, and the rules that were on the books were great back in the day, but they just never, kept up with the times or neither enforced them. And, if they would have just done that, it'd be fine. But, these sweetheart deals and everything. I mean, that's why JBS, Cactus, and all those guys are afloat.
Oh yeah. Well, like I
you
said,
just-
like my ESOP profile looks very good.
Yeah,
After this pandemic and from Cactus Feeders, and it's just kind of wild how I don't know. I'm a very anti-government anything really, and but I don't see enough ranchers willing to actually try something different to maybe shake up. There's a few people doing it, but I just don't. And that's not to talk down on anybody. I don't see enough people that are willing or able to just like not sell their cattle to their feedlot and like feed them out on their own and then demand a higher price. It's because outside of that, you got to have the government involved, and I hate that, but like we did it to ourselves, and it's kind of like I don't know. I don't know where you go from there. I hate it, but I mean it is what it is.
yeah, yeah. I think that those government payments are, hell, I don't want to step on people's toes and stuff, but the fact of the matter is the fat cattle market is the gold standard, and what practically what our dollar used to be it was based on gold.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the cattle market needs to be based on something.
Yeah.
And that needs to be based on fat cattle, and it trickles down.
Well,
and when
that's the only logical like base point, because like if you use the feeder cattle market, like that's just not a good indicator, because you want to know like what your beef cutout is going to be, because that at the end of the day that's what should set the price for the rest of the cattle market. And 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 it does. I mean, like you can see the outrageous price of beef. I don't think it's worth that much. But also I know it's worth a hell of a lot more than what the live cattle prices are reflecting. And there may not be any sort of on record collusion between these big packers, but it doesn't take a genius to see that it's like that's a real thing.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, they, it's I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. You stay this side of the highway, I'll stay this way. And go to this feed yard, I'll go that, and the worst thing is retaliation.
Mm-hmm.
I knew a guy, I'm sure you know him. He was down in our area, but we were dry as a bone, and he fed out fat cattle, and he was an older man, and anyway, he shipped a load of fats over to Southwest Kansas, and they docked him for tag on the cattle for mud,
Mm-hmm.
and he called him up and he said, well, shit, I didn't have any mud on these cattle. And he said, well, I guess the packer just said, well, we're getting cattle from eastern Kansas and they got mud on them, so we just started docking everybody's tag on the cattle. I mean, what a joke that I mean, and he just had to take it, and the thing is too, before they even picked up those cattle, they agreed on a price, and they were supposed to pick them up. Well, they delayed them for 3 weeks to pick them up, and they didn't pay the bill for feeding those cattle. He paid that bill for 3 weeks on those cattle, and yeah, he probably had some heavy carcasses and everything. Well, I'm sure they just nailed him on that too.
Oh yeah.
And that's why, like, your listeners, you got to do it. I mean, it's a trickle down even through the cow calf to the ranch hands or anything. I mean, they're going to start. These feed yards can't pay what they can to the cow calf man for the cattle. I mean, and the cow calf man can't have the budget to pay the ranch hand what he's worth if he's a good hand. And that's why everybody should get involved on supporting that bill. I'm a full believer in it. You gotta have enough negotiated trade, enough trade on a product to determine what it's worth, to base everything off of. So
Yeah. No, like I said it before, I don't like government intervention, but I don't see much of a better option, and that pains me to say it. I don't, and as I can be as libertarian as I want to be, but I would rather not have to have my job consist of even more Holstein influenced cattle, because that's where we're headed. Like the more more of these ranchers that go out of business, the more and more you're just going to get crossbred steer calves out of the dairy. And for all these green people that care about grass fed beef and whatever, well, like we don't raise grass fed beef on the label, but like the vast majority of that animal's life is spent out on pasture, and you just feed them for the last couple months of their life to get a good superior meat quality meat product. Where the more and more this shit gets vertically integrated, you're gonna have more and more cattle that are, it's the same steak. It's gonna taste the same to you at the end of the day, but that animal has never seen a blade of grass in its life. It was born in a dairy. It was pulled off of the mother as soon as the colostrum was all out of her, and then it was in a hutch, and then it was in a feedlot pen up until slaughter. I mean, it's if you want to talk about factory farming, that's factory farming. The feedlot is just one like the final aspect of your typical bovine's life. That whole deal where they go from nothing but confinement all the way through, which is something Cactus was trying to do, and it failed miserably because beef cattle don't do well calving in the feedlot. And like that's I mean, if you want to talk about like sure enough factory farming, that's what that is. And I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, how romantic is that for the American consumer? That just it's that beef never sees a blade of grass in its life.
Mm-hmm.
For those dairy cross cattle.
Yeah, and it's one step above fake meat at that point.
Yeah.
Like it's still beef.
Oh yeah.
But it's it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't sit right.
Yeah, and it's sad. Is I was watching a video auction today, and there was some of those kind of cattle, and hell, they were bringing, close to what good cattle were on a generational ranch, and people had done stuff right and everything. And I'm not saying those people in the dairy aren't doing things right, but I mean, I don't know. If I were to have a steak off either one of those outfits, I think I'd take it off the ranch that those cattle had been on grass and whatnot, and finished in the feed yard,
Yeah.
But
I
at least not just been in a calf hutch all their life.
Right.
So.
I mean, it's, well, and the thing is, like we all know, and like those dairy guys really do a good job of growing their steer calves, and well, just growing their calves in general, because they don't grow on the cow. And they do a good job of growing them, but we all know like a bottle fed calf just is not as good as one that's on a good mother. We all know that. Like,
Right.
as good of a bucket calf as you raise, it's just still not going to be as good. And like that's what the dairy industry has turned into. Like their high dollar dams that are producing the most milk are still not the best they could be, because they're not on a mama cow. And they've bred out the mom part of the Holstein cow at this point anyway. So like even if they tried it, it's probably not going to work very well. We
Right.
get a few calves here and there, and yeah, and it's a pain in the ass. And then on top of that, they got so much damn milk. You gotta, after the calf sucks, you still got to go milk them.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had to load a few pots, by myself with, for Holsteins or
Mhm.
jerseys, and those are that's difficult.
Oh yeah, it
tests your patience, I guess I'll say. So.
I had a guy on one of the groups the other day. They were asking a question about Like, what's your opinion on using a flag horseback? And I said something about, I said if you've ever loaded Holsteins a horseback, you'd prefer having a flag with you. And the guy was like, I loaded Holsteins for 20 years without any flag and did it just fine. And I said, well, you would have done it in 10 years if you had had a flag. I never did get a response back from him, but
Yeah, that's pretty good.
you know, and you've been around me enough. Like, I'm not a big hi-ya, you know, let's go rope everything you can see type of guy. I like to rope, and you know, I like watching a good wreck every now and then. But more than anything, I like to just get my shit done. And so I try to stay as quiet and calm as I can on cattle. But that, like, when it comes to loading those big Holsteins, like, God, I don't know how. Like, I just don't know how else you do it without just screaming yourself to death and like turning into a fit of violent rage.
Right. Oh yeah.
Oh
Oh yeah.
well, what's new in the big town of Walsh? I talked to my dad the other day, but I haven't heard much from what's going on in that part of the world.
Well, it's been blowing dirt, and last oh gosh, it seems like forever. But no rain or anything.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's it keeps you puckered up. We had a bad fire in 18 on our place, and I always try to when that fire happened to our place, I was going up along I-70 in Kansas to pick up some bulls that we'd bought in South Dakota, and I was 3.5 hours away when I learned the fire hit our ranch, and so I've learned that when the wind's blowing, and it's dry, I need to just be home. So
yeah, that's no joke.
my but my wife understands. Like, there's times that maybe we can get away or go do something, but I'm like, no, I want to be home. And
Yeah,
when one of those fires hits your place, it kind of forever changes your opinion on leaving the place or something like that. But no, I mean, shoot, we're doing good. We're like everybody. We just need rain.
yeah.
I think everybody in the whole high plains, southern plains, everybody needs rain.
Mm.
So, but
I was gonna kind of, piggybacking on that point about, when a fire hits you, it changes you. Like, was your dad like, did he just like to hoard shit?
hoard stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah. That my dad's the same way. Like, and it's not a bad thing. Like, he just, but he will never throw anything away, and I think that's just a direct consequence of their parents coming right out of the depression, and they're just like, no, you don't throw that away, because that shit costs money, and we don't have money.
Exactly. Yeah, and I've caught myself a lot more on, like, even stuff that, like, shows up, like, you get on a freight load or something, and what you might throw away, like, even like a pallet, it's like, I might need that.
Yeah,
And so I've became more of a hoarder, because it's just like, uh I can just tell stuff's gonna get a little bit tougher before it gets better.
yeah,
And I think a guy needs to be smart on that stuff. And you know uh I saw a meme that, like, you know I forget what it was, but, like, everybody mocked their grandmother for, like, washing their tinfoil, you know and I don't think that's all wrong.
Right.
I think the more conservative person can be, the better. So,
Yeah. I
but
I was just, and I didn't get a good chance to really read into. I was going to read a couple different articles, but apparently France has their presidential elections this month sometime, and they currently have as their I think he's their president. That Macron guy is like he's a the head of the Socialist Party. I mean, he's a like dyed in the wool socialist. And as of what I saw, like the polling going in this presidential election, they've got what the media says is a far right candidate, but mostly she's like control the immigration type candidate. She's kind of a Donald Trump, and she's basically neck and neck with this with their current, the incumbent president. And like if France is gonna go right wing, and keep in mind, like France right wing is like Bernie Sanders.
yeah,
But like if they're shifting to a right wing type party, just imagine what I think November is gonna be a slaughter for the Democrats. Like I think they're really gonna get their asses handed to them.
oh yeah. Well, didn't the French president come out and say, "Hey, France, we don't want to be like America and be woke, and just piss up a rope and screw ourselves on being woke all the time." I mean, didn't he come out and say that?
I think so, if I remember right. And yeah, there's been several people, like foreign leader. Like I think the Ukrainian president said it at once, but like that guy can go fuck himself. He's getting real cocky at the UN. You're like, oh, you gotta give us all the weapons we need. Fuck you, we do. Don't tell us what to do.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and I've kind of lost track on that Ukraine deal, but I don't know. You know, I swear we just need to not be the world police. I'm so sick and tired of that crap.
I know. Well,
So
because the more you dig into why we're going into someplace, you're just like, well, why were we doing that in the first place? Like, why could you not let a sleeping dog lie? Like, I don't think there's any question that everybody thinks Vladimir Putin is a terrible person. But like, if you can't just acknowledge that, like, hey, we kind of played a hand in all of this. Remember, they impeached Donald Trump over Ukraine the first time. Like, this is all just reeks of corruption, and there are going to be young men from Ukraine, Russia, and it's looking more and more like a bunch of our boys are going to die over some stupid geopolitical feud that involves the Biden family.
yeah,
And like, and on our not only that are we gonna possibly send our young men and women over there to fight and die, but we're also paying for it. Like we've already sent a bunch of weapons that probably will have young kids going in to Ukraine to fight a war of liberation or whatever, and those people will be neo-Nazis shooting at us with weapons that we gave them.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's what's happened, like over and over and over when we get involved in these overseas deals. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. But they just continue, just like, oh, prop up Ukraine. We stand with Ukraine. I don't give two shits about Ukraine right now.
Right. Well, what's so aggravating is just the show that was that Afghan pullout. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it baffles me. I mean, you know, I mean, I respect all the military and everything, but like, boy, how would you feel, you know, having your son or daughter go over now to one of those places, seeing that, how that went down, you know, how,
Yeah.
and, you know, like, my sister-in-law, her boyfriend served in the military and everything, like in you know, Iraqi freedom or whatever. And he said, you know, if there was one, like, honestly, almost one round of ammunition missing on the base, like if things were subpar, everything was kosher, they weren't fighting. I mean, it was like lockdown,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. And it like nobody left until they accounted for that one missing rifle or, you know, box of ammunition or something.
Mm-hmm.
And we just left all that crap over there
Oh.
for you know, all those people. And you know, it's just like that movie Lord of War.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guarantee you those guys were just lining up, you know, arms dealers ready to peddle that off to whoever, you
Well,
know.
and there was what was that? Not the Nicolas Cage one. That was Lord of War, but there was another one like that, and it had
Oh,
with Jonah Hill.
yeah, like War Dogs or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. And like that's, you know, obviously it's all Hollywood version of it, but like that's based on a true story. Like that shit happened. Like when you hear about no bid contracts and how many Cheney and his buddies got of those no bid contracts when we went into to Iraq. I mean, they have a fucking McDonald's and Taco Bell at the air bases in Iraq that we built. That those got built by with taxpayer money. Like
Yeah.
it's fucking insane. I mean, it was just a heyday. And I don't know, like the more I read on history and like the fall of civilizations, like Rogan talks about it quite a bit, and there's several other podcasts that talk about this Douglas Murray guy. He's actually a gay British guy, but he's kind of like a philosophy type, and he's an author. But I forget which book it was of his, but he talks about how at the end of a civilization, just obsessed with gender, and also they just loot and plunder the system while it's still intact because they know as soon as it crashes down that like the party's over. And you look at
Yeah.
and like I gotta you know, talk some shit on Donald Trump because this whole COVID deal started, like all the madness started when he declared a national emergency, which all of a sudden, you know, that was like a couple times he did under his presidency. And I remember saying like, this is a bad idea because when you declare a national emergency that severely restricts a bunch of your constitutional rights. And so that allowed all these governors to run wild, and then they passed these stimulus bills, which you know was supposed to help the people. But hey, the like the NBA, the MLB, the NFL, Home Depot, Walmart, they all got small business loans, while the rest of us got next to nothing. And and that all happened under Donald Trump, and it just like, man, it really is starting to feel like this whole thing's going to come crashing down, and it could get real ugly.
Right. Well, I agree. Yeah, it's that yeah, it's you know, my brother told me about a Netflix show that you know, I haven't watched it, but Four Horsemen.
Hmm.
And have you seen that or?
No, I think I maybe heard about it, but I like it's not ringing a like the name sounds familiar, but I don't remember anything that
I
I
mean,
heard
it's
about it.
not. Yeah, it's not like really biblical or anything. It's just you know, about you know, empires that fall,
Mhm.
you know, and like the you know, the timeline and everything, and like, you know, up to the crash of an empire, of what, you know, those empires like prioritize and everything. And you know, I haven't watched the show, but I remember my brother telling me um that one of the things that, like, before an empire crashes is they put high priority in people that can cook good. And like the Food Network
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I I guess that's maybe true, you know, but you know, I don't know. I see, you know, I went back to Kansas City this last weekend. We had to, you know, do some stuff back in eastern Kansas and stuff, and we kind of made a, you know, kind of a little bit of a trip out of it, and it's just so sad. Like, you know, like we go into a restaurant, and none of the men know how to work. You know,
No.
it's true. You know, I'm not. This isn't disparaging towards women. They're the ones propping up the show. You know, they're the only ones that know how to work in there. All the men just sit around and take orders and don't know shit. You know, it's just sad. You know, and you can't get, you know, and you know, service is slow, but you can't get mad at those people. That at least they're the ones wanting to work.
Right.
You know, everybody's short staffed and everything, and it's just it's pretty sad that everybody's sitting around for a handout. And to, you know, I heard that California, they're wanting to hand out gas cards.
Oh, I
You know,
saw
for
I saw that.
you know, give a gas card, or, you know, I mean, talk about pouring gasoline on the fire. I can't believe that.
I know. I'm just like that's what pisses me off about this whole fucking Ukraine situation. Like, we were good with our energy source. We were our energy source. We actually exported more than we imported. And I mean, it was a good thing we had going on. Like, we were set up really well. And then, because of these greenies that well, and especially the ones you see pushing this Green New Deal or whatever, look at who contributes to their their campaigns, and look at where they're invested. And yeah, they're pushing this green stuff because they stand to make a truckload off of it. And so they shut down drilling, they shut down offshore drilling, they shut down fracking on public lands, and we started buying more oil from fucking Russia. And like, all of that could have been you know, that could have been avoided. You go back to the Obama presidency and Hunter Biden, crackhead, possible pedophile, Hunter Biden is sitting on the board of a major Ukrainian natural gas company that happened to be in the pocket of the guy that was allied with Russia. And then we went and underwent, or, you know, overthrew that president. And then all of a sudden, the new the new government was wanting to look into this whole Burisma natural gas deal and Hunter Biden, and Joe Biden shuts that shit down real quick, on record, saying that he shut that shit down real quick. And they just act like nothing ever happened. And then the Republicans too are like, oh, well, we're just going to forget about the whole thing, and we got to send all these weapons to Ukraine. Like, we kind of helped start that shit. Like, like we really shouldn't have been over there, and now it kind of blew up in our faces, and we're like, oh, bad guy. Well, he's not good,
Yeah.
but he probably wouldn't have done that if we wouldn't have been fucking around in his backyard. Like, god damn it, dude.
Right. Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, consider us a bunch of prairie dogs. The
Yeah.
U.S. is a bunch of prairie dogs. And we kind of set up a prairie dog town right next to Russia,
Mhm.
you know? And, Putin really doesn't want prairie dogs coming in on Russia. So he's saying, fuck you, Ukraine. You know?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I mean,
and I'm
truly,
feeling like the United States government is that one buddy that just gets fucked up as soon as you walk into the party. Like you walk into the party and he's been pre-gaming for 6 hours, and immediately he starts a fight. And like he's your buddy, so you have his back. And then after a while, you're just like, God damn it, I'm tired of getting punched in the face for this guy. Like this guy's
yeah,
kind of an asshole. Maybe we should stop doing that. Like, just stop. Like all this could be avoided if this fucking asshole wouldn't start a fight every time we go to a party. Like we're
yeah,
here to have a good time, and you got fucking Lady G, Senator Ladybugs, and Joe Biden, and on all these people, and Biden, to his credit, at least didn't take the bait about inviting Ukraine into NATO. I mean, like, fuck, that could have been bad.
right.
Well, and you're just like, at the same time, like, and they keep trying to fight bigger and bigger guys, and like, not that like like nobody wins in a war with Russia. Like that just doesn't happen. But even without nukes, that's not a war you want to fight. And I just like, why keep pushing towards that? Let him have, like, I'm sorry for Ukraine, but goddamn, like that's not worth our boys going and dying over it.
Well, exactly. I mean, at least they're wanting to fight for it instead
Right.
of that crap show in Afghanistan spent 20 years for, and it fell in what, a week or 2 weeks or something.
Well,
So
it was since about May they were working on it, but once they secured a bunch of those provincial capitals, like yeah, from there it was about a week until they took Kabul.
yeah,
Yeah, and it was, but like people have been saying that since 2003. Like we knew it was going to happen, and we just kept pushing it down later down the road, and and yeah, Biden did the worst possible job of getting out of there, but it was going to be a shit show no matter what, and he just made it 1,000 times worse. And then on top of that, like they probably could have stopped that bombing at the airport, but then they retaliated by killing a piece, or like an aid worker and his family, like children. I was like, and then we wanna get pissed off at Vladimir Putin for war crimes. You're like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what leg do we have to stand on at this point? Like, just let's stop all of it.
right. Oh,
Ah,
I know.
it just, my God, it's infuriating at times, but
Oh, I know. It's
yeah, I know it makes me glad I live where I do. Like I said, unless they depot down at Tonopah, I'm probably pretty good because there ain't much out here to.
right. That's kind of how I am. I figure that, like, I don't know, one of the big nukes might reach me from the Springs, like NORAD.
Yeah,
But other than that, like, I think I'm pretty safe, you know. So,
I think so
but
too. Like we're far enough. Well, see, we're like right in between Tonopah and Reno, and like if they, I, I don't know what the military has going on in Reno. There's probably something because they always do, and and then Tonopah's got the largest ammunition depot in the world, and we're like halfway in between those, but it's still far enough out. I think we're probably all right, but I don't know. Who knows?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And then
what do you got going on in your world?
Oh shit, not much, man. We're the wife and kids are they're up in Oregon they're on the coast for spring break this week, and I've been
like Coos Bay?
they went up to I don't think they went up as far as Coos Bay, but it's Gold Beach.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so they went up the coast a little bit today and went to a lighthouse, and yeah, they've just been they went and did a hike through an old growth forest. That was day before yesterday, and yeah, so they've been up there, and we got a bunch of shit planned this summer, and I'm not on teacher schedule, so I had to stick around the home place for this one, so I can take off during the summer.
You're the old fuddy dud.
Yeah, pretty much. It looks awesome. It looks kind of cold up there on that Oregon coast, but looks pretty damn cool. I'm kind of jealous. I haven't been up to Oregon yet. Like those are the two on the West Coast, is Oregon and Washington. I haven't been up there yet, so those are the only two I think I need to knock out, and then I have basically from California to Nebraska covered, I think.
Yeah. The only thing I lack west of Mississippi is California and Arizona. So,
yeah.
But I am longing to go down to Arizona. I want to see like Sedona, Arizona. It looks like so pretty down there, and there's also like a lot of cool ranch country down there.
Man, big country out there. Like even just climbing up to the rim of the Grand Canyon is really, really pretty. And
yeah,
like I don't know. I guess I just never thought about the elevation, but like the rim of the Grand Canyon's about 10,000 feet. So I mean, it's like it's way up there. Yeah, it's way up there. But then once you're there, it just like drops off, and like that's I always, like that's kind of like on everybody's bucket list is the Grand Canyon. And I always thought it was kind of cheesy until I saw it, and then I was like, holy shit! Like, yeah, I get it. Like it's something else.
Huh? It's kind of like have you ever been through like Post, Texas?
Yeah.
That's a cool. I mean, that's right where it falls off the. I'm probably wrong with the Texas listeners, but like where it falls off the Cap Rock and everything, and drops down. And I remember the first time I went through there, it was like through a drought, and I thought, who in God's green earth would want to live here?
Oh, I know.
You know,
the Llano
but
Estacado.
like I went through. Yeah, but I went through like when it was nice and green, like 6 years ago or so, and shoot, it was beautiful. You know, I loved it. So
yeah,
but
yeah, it's well, I mean it's the same way when you get down in that Pritchett country, because you're just driving across the prairie, and then all of a sudden you're on like a 5% grade, and you just go straight down, and you're just like, wow, this is like a different world down here, you know?
Right.
Like that's some of the prettiest country you'll ever see is down in that canyon country. And
I know.
You would never know it was there, just if you drive just even a couple miles east and north of there.
Right.
But I don't know, it's but yeah, so they're up in the they're either coming home tomorrow. Well, they're leaving Oregon tomorrow, and I don't know if they're gonna stop halfway and then come home Saturday, or try to make the whole. It's like a 10-hour drive, so they'll probably stop somewhere.
Yeah, they want to stay away from you for as long as possible.
Probably. I mean, yeah, I gotta. That means I gotta do some dishes before then. Like they're not bad, but like they just have stayed in the sink all week, and I was like, I'll do those.
You ever find yourself like when your wife is gone, like reverting back to all your like bachelor meals that you know, I mean, not like my wife's cooking is way better than mine.
Yeah.
But you ever have a hankering for all your shitty old bachelor foods?
Oh yeah. So I had thought out some chuck steaks, and chuck steaks are one of the most difficult cuts of meat on a beef to because like there's just so much fat and connective tissue in them, and like when you lay it out, it's a big chunk of meat, and then when you actually cook it, it's like there's just not that much meat to it. It's just all connective tissue, but it's really really good meat. And so I had this like 2 packages of chuck steak in the Instant Pot. I just put it on slow cook for over 24 hours. And so then I just had taco meat right there close. So I went to the Mexican restaurant and got the big tortillas, and I've just been eating barbacoa burritos all week.
Nice. Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I just on something like that, when you're just cooking the shit out of the meat, you gotta season it up. That's where the Mexican side of me comes out. It's like, yeah, you just throw a little more garlic, throw a little more chili powder on there, and just cook it low and slow, and then just leave it on warm, and when come home for lunch, make you a little burrito, and keep on trucking.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, you do better than me. Like, I usually buy like 2 cans of Bush's baked beans.
I like this. I like this method too.
Yeah, and then like a pound of like thawed out sausage and a pound of thawed out hamburger, and like jalapenos, and just mix up all that crap together. You know? And
dice up some onion and throw it in there too. And that'll.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of like my breakfast. Pretty well the 3 meals is how I operate when my wife's gone.
Oh,
so.
and we've got a whole bunch of chickens, and I've been averaging a dozen eggs a day. I've collected while everybody's been out of town, and I've not ate a single goddamn one of them. I don't wake up early enough in the morning to make breakfast and then go to work, and then after that I love eggs. I'll eat eggs anytime, but like I only cook them on my days off for breakfast. That's the only time I cook eggs.
Well, yeah. Well, my wife, I don't even know how many chickens my wife, like she buys like chickens, where you can order chickens through the mail and they like show up at the post office and everything. Well, like she treats that like me when there's an ammo sale on like Midway USA. Or something.
Yeah,
like,
when Cheaper Than Dirt sends you that email, it's like, hey, we got a bunch of 9mm in for this, and you're just like, fuck yeah.
Oh yeah. And you just go way overboard.
Yeah.
Well, that's what she does, but she orders like, well, for example, we're after my mom passed and everything, we moved into the ranch house, kind of down at the home place. And anyway, she's like, well, you ever see any rattlesnakes here? And I was like, no, never have. Like bull snakes or something.
Yeah.
And right around the home place. Well, sure as the world, like, I don't know, 2 months after living there, she like found a rattlesnake like right outside her house.
Oh,
and so she ordered like 25 guineas. Because guineas keep away the snakes.
Yeah.
Well, guineas make a lot of noise. Have you ever?
Yeah, they're loud as shit.
Oh yeah. I mean, thank goodness skunk got in and like killed all but 4 guineas, and so we're at a manageable number now.
Oh, so my wife had bought what was the deal? A lady that she teaches school with, her I don't remember if it was her sister or her mother that had died, and she had a bunch of chickens, and so she gave them all to my wife and my sister-in-law. So they divided these chickens equally, and then I was kind of day working for this old man here in the valley, and he's an old, yeah, like you'd really like this guy. He's an old Oregon buckaroo type guy, but he's late 70s, early 80s, and he lives on this place that he built himself, and like he's got all this like really crazy, like kind of shitty looking equipment that he built himself, and then you actually watch him run it, and you're just like, oh, that's actually a really brilliant piece of equipment, but he made it out of whatever he had, so it looks real shitty. and
Yeah.
And so, like, I was doing some day work for him, and one of the guys that worked at the feedlot was renting a house from him, and he had all these chickens. And then this guy got a job down in actually over in Ulysses, Kansas, and he left behind his chickens. Well, it turns out they were all like game bred chickens. Like he had Mexican fighting roosters, and
Shit.
all of his hens were like those game type birds. And Mr. Ted just gave them to me, and I was like, well, whatever. My wife likes chickens, and that has since then we've added to the chicken flock consistently. Every time Tractor Supply or True Value has chicks for sale, there was one time she came home and let me know that she did not buy any chicks at the True at the True Value, and she was real proud of herself, and I was really happy about that. Like I don't ever give her any shit about it, because at the end of the day, shit hits the fan. We got some meat, and we got a source of eggs. So whatever. I don't care that much. And even if we have to stop buying grain, you can just turn those bitches out, and they'll survive and do well.
Well, yeah. Well,
but at the same time, I try to do as
you have
little
some
as possible.
Like you have some, and it sounds like you have some like fighting roosters.
Yeah,
possibly.
I like, if I knew more about it and I had that kind of gumption, I would look into it and start breeding them, because you can make some pretty decent money on that shit.
Well, yeah, and you look Mexican enough that you could go into the underground Mexican fighting rooster ring.
I could do live podcasts from the cockfights.
There you go.
I'd have to learn Spanish. That could be like when I start the Spanish Burnin Daylight channel. I'll do bull sessions from the cockfights.
Yeah, you could be like the Joe Rogan of cockfights.
Yeah, well, and then like I would never have to find a featured music, because I just use Gallo del Cielo, and that would be the theme song, and I'd never have. It would make it'd be a lot easier podcast to edit, because I have the same music every time.
Yeah. I like it.
We might be onto something here, Mundell. I'm still working this trans angle pretty hard. Like I'm pretty sure I might identify as trans here at some point, and just start joining like leagues around. Like if they like have a women's softball league. I'm just gonna call myself. I got to think of I don't know what the feminine version of Matthew is.
You you won't dominate. You'll just be above par
Well,
in the softball league,
I
the
will.
women's softball league.
Maybe. I think I would dominate around here. If I had to go towards Reno, I probably not so much. You know, there'd probably be some lesbians
Okay.
that would kick my ass. But like around here, I think I would dominate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm down with that.
Yeah. I mean, did you see that screenshot I sent you?
Yeah.
I have no idea who that gal was that responded, and I didn't mean anything personal towards her. I just thought that was funny. She
Yeah.
she was saying something because it was basically a meme about how the evolution of women, and it was just showed their bush, and then at like 70s, 80s, 90s, and then 2000s it shows a dick instead of a bush. And then and she said like men have gone the opposite way, and I was like, it's hard to argue with that. But then I said, quit back talking, or we'll come dominate another one of your sports. And I hope she didn't take it the wrong way. I hope she knows that was completely a joke. But whatever. People get butt hurt.
Right.
It is. Like I gotta tell you, the balls on that Leah Thomas dude. He I'm almost not mad by it, because just like he's going in like 100%. But he's going full bore. So like I at least respect that like there was there, he's not cutting any corners there. He's just going full steam ahead.
Yeah. Do you ever watch like when they awarded him, and then when they awarded the girl that got second?
Yeah.
So everybody was just like roaring for her.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, yeah, it's stupid. Like that's yeah, and
I mean,
you get kicked off of social media for saying like, "Hey, this is retarded."
yeah, I mean, just a shame. I mean, it's such a, those girls deserved it, and for that, I don't know. Anyway, I think it's ridiculous.
It's completely ridiculous. It's I mean, the guy didn't even have the decency to cut his dick off. Like apparently he was just like walking around just letting it hang in the locker rooms. And he's like, "Yep, I'm a chick now. Never mind that thing. I'm a lady." And yeah, it's just he was number 426 in the men's rankings, and then within the span of a season went to number 1 as a lady, but did nothing to change the fact that he still had a cock and balls. It just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like I kind of respect the con. Like this is obviously a con game, and I almost respect it. Like they that dude is just like there's no shame, and I don't know. I almost respect that more than like playing the like tiptoeing around it. Like, nah, it's just like, I'm a chick now. Fuck you.
Oh yeah. Well, I often tell my wife this, like, it honestly feels like we're living in the South Park
I know
episode.
it. I know it. It's
all the time.
Have you been watching the newest South Park?
No, because gosh, my kids stay up so late that,
Oh yeah,
and then I fall asleep like right after they go to sleep. So
yeah, I know how that goes.
I never catch it.
I always watch it when I'm I finally got caught up on it. Like, I'm up to date on South Park. That's probably the only show that I'm up to date on. And But man, those guys, they still got it. They're still bringing the heat. Like it's really really funny. God, they're um yeah, it does like I tweeted out earlier that I was like if you look at it everything from a strictly comedic standpoint, this simulation is freaking hilarious. I'm loving every minute of it just from a comedic standpoint. But when you boil it down to real life, it's like it's pretty depressing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just well, just like you know, a good example is just like I used to like we're fixing to brand cattle and everything, and we just did a little bunch last week or this week, and you used to be able to just like I don't know, no problem, get a bunch of high school boys. I mean, me and you, I mean, hell, we took our college days off.
Yeah.
Or how they grant your, go visit a college or whatever.
Yeah.
And we just went and branded.
Yeah.
And hell, you can't get any of them anymore. And it's just I mean, I myself, I mean, you never rope at your own branding, or that's my philosophy.
Well, that's kind of like a pretty well accepted thing.
Yeah, I mean, heck, I have enough crap going on. I just don't even saddle a horse. I just, I'm busy taking the Brandon buggy around but you can't even. I mean, you have a hard time getting enough flankers anymore. And you used to, that was the high school kid deal. And, if they knew how to rope, throw them in and rope. But otherwise, they just flanked all day. And anymore, I mean, I find myself flanking a fair amount because there's enough guys older than me. I don't want them flanking. And, so I'm flanking and and I'm fine with it. I respect the guys and everything, and they brand and cut, and I flank calves. But that's how crappy it is. You can't find enough younger men to want to come out and flank calves and do that kind of stuff. So, but
yeah, I couldn't tell you. Like I probably couldn't pick out anybody that I know that's in high school in Walsh, Colorado anymore. And I like that kind of, it makes me sad a little bit because, like I'd love to be back home and hitting the Brandon circuit this time of year and just helping everybody. Like just because that's the best time of year for a guy that Cowboys is to just go brand. I don't, if I get paid, great. If not, I'll work my way around it so that it's you don't go broke just trying to go rope calves, but like you dang sure try to hit as many of them as you can, and like I don't see myself moving back to Baca County. I mean, there's not much for me there, but at the same time, I'd still I miss Brandon in that part of the world.
Oh yeah, no, it's fun. I mean, I enjoy it, and I kind of got after my dad passed and everything, I kind of got directly promoted from flanker, roper to brander, and pretty well head cheese.
Yeah,
yeah. So, but I mean, it's fine, and we have great help on the place and everything, and I have good guys helping me on the place, and I'm thankful. So,
yeah.
but yeah, it's I'll tell you honest truth. I mean, I'd rather cut than anything. I love cutting.
Yeah.
So
That's one of the best times is sitting around after a Brandon and just cleaning nuts. That's that was always one of my favorite activities. Is just shooting the shit and cleaning bull calf testicles and getting ready for a nut fry. It's like that was always a fun time.
Right. Oh yeah.
So, like, is Walsh? Do they still have a football team, or like they playing 6-man still, or are they like small enough to where they can't even muster a team?
No, we have a 6-man football team. I mean, and yeah, I'll probably piss off some of the Baca County listeners, but heaven for consolidate with Springfield and just have a solid 8-man football team. So
like we could have done that. Like me and Clint Mundell, as far unless you played flag football in college, but like we have never played 11-man football. Like I have no frame of reference when it comes to playing like an actual game of football because we never had the chance to do that.
Right. Yeah. So we bus our kids over the mountains to play 6-man football here and there, instead of consolidating. But that's a different subject.
No, small town. Yeah. Yeah. And then you'll cut the music department, but you'll keep that football budget so you can drive to Saguache or wherever the fuck.
Right.
So that the chance that maybe possibly like the brother-in-law's cousin of a scout for some team might be there. Because let's face it, nobody's gonna go watch 6-man football. Like that's recruiting talent. They're not gonna waste their time.
Well, they can play D3, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. You just roll tape.
Yeah, roll the tape, and yeah, but like you'll cut your art and music program to keep that going, even though like there might be some like actual talent and stuff in those areas, but like hey, yay sports, let's go sports.
Yeah.
Remember like, when we won state back in 2003 or whatever. Remember that? Those were good days.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think so many small towns, there's never going to be a professional football or basketball or whatever player come out of here.
No.
And I think you're sacrificing a lot of opportunities for the kids for having other opportunities for them, so.
Well, and even the kids that you do have that are talented, say like Darren Cook, well, he moved to Lamar, so he had to have a better chance at getting seen by actual scouts. Like we'd be far better off just making one Baca County High School like they do in Weld County. Weld County is a hell of a lot bigger than Baca County, people wise and county wise, but like they for a long time they had one, in the rural part of the county, like they have one high school. And
yeah.
Yeah, and guess what? There's like some kids coming out of there had an actual shot at a scholarship. But the Meerden twins, like there's some of the like there's some really, really good basketball players. They got wrote about in the Denver Post, but that's the only attention they got because we're 2A basketball. No, there's no scout that's going to go to 2A basketball unless the kids are just freaks. And these guys were good, but they weren't just freaks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's I don't know how you change that either.
Yeah, it's all small town politics. Pretty
Yeah,
well.
and eventually you'll end up with with nothing. I mean that's kind of what it ends up as, but I don't know. It's
yeah.
anyhow, let's talk about something a little more exciting because the world's a little the world's a little depressing. But hey, opening day today. Maybe the Rockies will beat the Diamondbacks and they'll be second to last in the division this year.
Well, I hope so. I love the Rockies, but I'm going to have to, I'm a Royals fan over the Rockies.
Well, their Royals are not in much better shape either.
No, they're not. But, I was always so pissed off, like, around Baca County, like, when the Royals finally won the World Series. Like, I saw all these Royals hats. And I was like, no, I liked them when they sucked. Because I worked at, like...
Yeah, I same way. I adopted the Royals when I lived in Kansas because I couldn't watch the fucking Rockies because of stupid licensing agreements.
Well, yeah, like, I'm sure you're the same way. Like, when I worked at Grant County Feeders, I rode pans, like, in the summer. We always had the Royals on, on the radio. And, they were so horrible. I mean, every game they talked about the George Brett pine tar issue.
Oh, yeah. Because there was nothing going on in the actual game. They had to go back to George Brett.
Yeah. I mean, they talked about the George Brett pine tar issue every game.
And we were like, what, 3 when that happened?
Yeah. Yeah. And, I was, 20 years old or, 19, 20 years old.
Oh, they were awful.
20 years later.
Yeah, but then when they went on that run, man, that was fun. I had
and they
really
played good ball. Like, they like stealing bases and everything. I love the Royals. I mean,
they were scrappy.
Of course, they won the series.
They didn't have any like real rock star starting pitchers, but their bullpen was lights out. Like if your if your pitcher could make it to the 5th inning, that's it. That's good. That's all they needed. They had such a good bullpen after that. And
they did the after 6 it was 7, 8, 9 different pitchers, and just lights out.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, and they were a lot of fun to watch. They were really a National League team playing in the American League. Like they just played a lot of small ball. But I
know
it was fun to watch, and I kind of adopted the Royals just because that's who I was able to listen to, and I was typical cowboy type stuff. You're out there by yourself. You're I would talk to you, fairly often, but still for the vast majority of the day, I didn't talk to anybody. So I'd listen to the Royals, or when I got home, I'd turn on baseball and then I would have rather turned on the Rockies, but I couldn't get them. So I turned on the Royals and it was a wash at the time because they both fucking sucked. And then the Rockies made the series the one time and the Royals made it back-to-back years, but they actually won one. So like, I don't know. I like the Royals. I like the Rockies, and they both suck this year. So, or it looks like they're going to. So anyway, happy opening day.
Yeah. And I love the Rockies. Like, and the Monforts know they don't have to spend money. I mean, because if you've ever been to Coors Field,
oh, it's awesome.
I mean, it's beautiful. And it's like a party atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the mountains in the background, and it's just fun to be there.
Well, the thing that pisses me off is they say that they're fans of the game, and I'm like, no, you're not. You are not. You have one of the best stadiums in the country. You have a city in Denver that wants to be a baseball town, and you do nothing to actually be a good baseball team. You have a great experience except for the team.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, they just don't want to invest anything, but they know they don't have to.
I know, and that's the thing. Yeah, it's they're making money elsewhere, and the Rockies are just like the Rockies are kind of a cash cow because it's a baseball town, and people will go even if they have a shitty team, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. So I have a bet for you.
Okay.
Russell Wilson is throwing out the first pitch.
Oh.
Have you heard this?
What's the odds on that? Do you know?
Well, so no, he is. It's confirmed.
Okay.
So, is he going to throw a heater, like 90-mile-an-hour fastball, or is he going to just soft lob it in?
You know, I'm gonna go. He's gonna go like just enough heat on it to where it looks kind of cool, but not enough to where he's not gonna throw 90s, but like he might be in that like 82, 83 range because like this guy got drafted as a pitcher. Like the dude can pitch.
Right.
But he's also
like Kaepernick.
He's like the ultimate cheese ball too. So like he's a corporate quarterback if there ever was one.
Well, that's right. But like Kaepernick, like did you ever see when he threw out a pitch? Like it was like 90 mile an hour.
I watched some of his stuff when he pitched in college, but I didn't see like the first pitch. But that dude's got a cannon.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm betting that Wilson, Russell Wilson just kind of soft lobs it in.
Yeah.
But when he could like throw the heat, throw the cheddar.
You know he can. But I think he's gonna Disneyfy it. It's gonna be like I said, like 82, 83, just fast enough to where it looks really good. But like he doesn't have to take that risk of like hitting the cage or something, which I would love. I would love that even more. Like if he just threw 100 and like as hard as he could and missed everything, I would love that. But he's probably going to be like 82, 83. Maybe he'll hit 85 and it's going to be just like right down the middle, real pretty. And but because he's just a cheese ball, like Disney character almost.
Yeah.
Hey, but I bet we win some Super Bowls with him.
Oh, I know. No, I think it's good.
Yeah. I don't like Russell Wilson as a person, but as a quarterback, dude's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, before they drafted him, I was kind of hot on this Matt Corral guy out of Ole Miss. But I don't know. I think it's good. I wish Denver could actually like draft a good quarterback, and like have a generational deal. But
I know, they should have done with Josh Allen.
Oh yeah.
I'm still bitter over that. Like, because Wyoming is one of our big rivals, but I really like Wyoming, and I like UW, and I always enjoyed the border war because we'd talk a whole bunch of shit, but we'd get drunk, and then after the game we'd go to the bar or go to the house party, and it was just nothing but good old boys. It was just like it was a really good rivalry, and so I loved Josh Allen, and Josh Allen was almost begging to be a Bronco, and fucking Elway didn't even go to his pro day.
I know. And that was a joke. I mean, they should draft him.
Now look at him.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not gonna lie. I like to watch the Chiefs play. I mean, I think Mahomes is awesome.
Oh, that
I,
dude's
I
a
just love
stud.
to watch him play. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I was rooting for the Bills in that. That was the best football game I've ever watched.
That was
Bills.
an awesome football, and the Bills defense. My God, they just collapsed there at the end. Like I know Mahomes and the Chiefs were good, but like the Bills really played good defense up until the fourth quarter, and they just, I mean, my God, they were awful.
Right.
Like Josh Allen played his fucking nuts off, and his defense gave it away.
Yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed. I don't know. I was rooting for the Bills because just they had a crappy run there. With the in the '90s and everything. I was kind of rooting for the Bills. So
I know. And Bills Mafia. How do you not like Bills Mafia? Those guys are insane.
yeah, suplexing guys through garbage cans and tables.
Oh, I know. You'll see videos of some Bills fan with a Josh Allen jersey and a newborn kid, and just like breaking him through a little miniature folding table. And you guys are clowns, but I love it. I love Bills Mafia.
Yeah.
Like they're the rednecks of New York, and they're proud of it.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
But I mean,
yeah,
it's a good fit for Josh Allen. Like I really like that kid a lot.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I think he's great. And just a stud. And hell, he can run. He's a big guy too.
Oh, I know.
So.
Once again, if Elway was thinking at all, like that guy wanted to be a Bronco. Like he would have fit in perfect. Like he would have been a fan favorite from day one. Like that was your guy, and you didn't even look at him.
Right.
I mean, like you took a flyer on Paxton Lynch, but not Josh Allen. Like, my God!
Talk about a turd. That Paxton Lynch. That guy was an idiot.
Oh, he was awful. And these, like, coming out of college, these were basically the same guy, except Josh Allen was begging to be a Bronco, and everybody else said like a lot of people said he should have been the number one pick. And looking back at it now, he probably should have been.
Yeah,
but because I think because it was like Baker Mayfield Baker Mayfield and who's that dude from the
shit. Hell, there was that snobby guy from
right, the UCLA
he went to
guy.
Arizona.
Yeah, I forget his name, but I think he's out of the league now.
Yeah, he was a real snob.
And then that whoever the Giants drafted, Jones.
Oh.
Or maybe he was later on. Maybe he was a different draft class. But there was... Oh, and Lamar Jackson was in that draft class, too. We passed on Lamar Jackson, too.
Well, yeah, hell, he went, like, late in the draft, or in the first round, like 28 or something.
Something like that. Yeah, Baltimore traded up to get him. And, yeah, like, you're not going to have that guy for long term. But, man, when he's there, guy can make some shit happen. And, we passed on that guy. We passed on Josh Allen, and we even passed on the snobby dude. I can't remember that guy's name, but I remember Big Al from when he was still doing the drive with D-Mac. Like he was pounding the table on Lamar Jackson. He was pounding the table on Alvin Kamara, and look at him now. Like we're like, Big Al should probably be some sort of scout, like a well-paid scout. Like that guy can spot some talent.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I don't know. I love watching the draft, but I guess the Broncos ain't going to be in the first round this year. But I kind of like watching it. But
yeah, I don't know anybody that's in the because I just didn't watch any college football this year, and so I don't know who's in it. I do like what they did in free agency. I wish they would have signed another offensive lineman, but I mean it's already looking better without Elway calling the shots. Like,
oh, for sure,
leave Elway as like king type figure. He just has to be a figurehead, and then if you need his clout to get a Peyton Manning to come over, well then you're just like, hey John, brush up. Like we got to go get this guy, and Elway's good at that, but everything else he was not great at.
Right, yeah. Oh, I know. Well, I was so disappointed. Like, I went through Manhattan this last weekend, which that's a little bit off the interstate, but like Lauren's like, well, why don't we go into Manhattan and our old college town? Her and I are both K-Staters, and grab a burger or something. And I was like, I don't know, and hell, it was fun going back into college town, but it's amazing how much from when you left college, how much it changes,
Man, I don't recognize Fort Collins at all.
Oh, I know. What makes me so aggravated is like the Big 12. And I'm so pissed off that like CSU doesn't try to make more of a push to try to get into that, but they missed the boat.
Well, and yeah, at this point, it's like there's no point. The Big 12 is basically dead.
Yeah, I mean, hell, we added like Florida Atlantic or something now, and Houston and Cincinnati, and I don't know. It's so aggravating. Like, I was so pissed off when like CU left.
Oh, I know, that was awful. That it was CU and Nebraska and who Missouri that left the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, and hell, that was like the Big 12 used to be all the big ag schools, and now it's not. It's just kind of like, well, whatever, So, but
hey,
I don't know.
I got to take a leak real bad, so let me pause this and we'll be back.
Okay.
All right.
Are you paused?
All right, I'm back.
All right. Are we on the line?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, okay. Is it playing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm actually really excited about football this year. Like I'm not excited at all about baseball. I don't know what happened with their like collective bargaining deal, but I don't know. I'm not excited about baseball at all. But like there's a bunch of shakeup in the NFL, and like I'm intrigued to see how it all plays out. Like I'm also intrigued to see if Brady's still got it in him. And actually, I kind of hate Brady again, and I like that.
Well, I know. I liked Brady when he went to Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
But the kind of what he pulled, like the Jordan, oh, I'm not retired, or like the Brett Favre, oh no, I'm back. Like I'm just like, oh my word,
Yeah. Well, and just like, can something in your life not be a publicity stunt?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like now I kind of hate Brady again, but also like I know he's going to be good, and that's good for the NFL. So yeah, whatever.
Right.
And it feels better not having to like Brady anymore, because they're those last couple of years you're just like, fuck. I kind of like the guy. I can't help it. Like, he's I can't help but like him, and you're just like, yep, he he is that good. But then he retires and then unretires, and they're like, yeah, I still don't like you. I feel better about that.
Well, is Gronk gonna be back with the Bucks?
I'm not for sure. I saw a clip on Twitter that like he was on Jimmy Kimmel, and it's fun. Does anybody actually watch that show anymore?
Oh, I don't. I mean, I don't ever watch late night. I loved when late night was just. I mean, they made fun of everybody, like Republicans, Democrats, everything.
Well, I
all they
loved
do is
the
just
Daily
make
Show
fun of
when Jon Stewart was on the Daily Show, and I loved Colbert when he did the Colbert Report when he was just playing a character. But now, like, I watched a couple episodes of Jon Stewart's new show on Apple TV, and it sucks. Colbert is just nothing but a mouthpiece for the Democratic Party, and that sucks. But I honestly thought comedy was dead for a while, but I will tell you, if you got HBO, The Righteous Gemstones is so funny.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Huh. So it's John Goodman, Danny McBride, and he's they're a family of Southern televangelists, like super church type preachers. But Danny McBride is still Danny McBride. Like he's basically Kenny fucking Powers as a Southern televangelist, like money grabber minister, and it's some of the funniest shit I've ever seen, and it's like it's a new show, like, and so it gives me hope that comedy's not all the way dead. At least on as far as TV goes. Like, I mean, stand up is still going strong, but like funny shows, like, and in movies, like it's been forever since we had a good comedy.
Oh yeah, hey, I gotta get your opinion on the. you might shake your head at this. The Will Smith slapping.
Oh fuck
issue.
The worst part of it is nobody stood up and said, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" Like, this guy is getting paid to tell jokes at an awards show, which you were receiving an award at. He's telling jokes. Like, you don't do that. And if you do, you get kicked out. But no, he goes up and slaps the dude, and then he receives an Academy Award and gives like a 5-minute speech. What the fuck is going on? Like, where are the men at? Like, some dude should have like grabbed him by his collar and escorted him out of the room.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, props to Chris Rock for. I mean, if I would have been him, I would have, punched him right back in the face. I wouldn't have slapped him,
Yeah.
But you know, and it wasn't even that mean of a joke or anything.
It wasn't
I
even
just
that
think
good
it's
of a joke. Like it just
no, it was a shitty joke. So
and I don't fault Chris Rock at all. Like most of us probably would have fought back, but you also got to remember, like Will Smith's a big dude. Like he played a very convincing version of Muhammad Ali in a movie. Like
yeah,
and Chris Rock's like 5'5". I mean, like I don't know. Like I don't expect him to do much in that situation. And he also refrained from just like unleashing like comedic hell on Will Smith, which I kind of wish he would have done. I really, like the common joke is like, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Well, keep other dudes' dicks out your wife's fucking mouth.
yeah,
But he didn't do that. He did, but also like he just got slapped by a much bigger dude at the fucking Academy Awards, like at the Oscars. Like it was, I don't know. Like I hate talking about it because I kind of despise all of Hollywood. But I love the fact that people tuned in to watch that slap and nothing else from the Oscars.
well, yeah. I mean, like that's just the thing. I mean, of course, I never really watched that, but
Yeah.
nor like the late night shows. I mean, I used to love. I mean, Leno. I loved Leno.
Leno was good.
I mean, because
Conan
he
too.
threw it on both sides.
Yeah, and I like Conan because Conan was just funny. Like
yeah.
I mean, he was. They're all going to be left leaning, but I don't know. Like nowadays, like Jimmy Fallon is just. I don't know, like what that guy's doing, and then Jimmy Kimmel is just straight up propaganda at this point. And this is the dude that used to host the Man Show.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
It's wild.
Yeah. It's yeah. I don't even watch late night shows anymore.
I watch very little TV anymore. It's just like I watch it's everything's on streaming, but now streaming's become like cable because you got to have this package and this package. South Park does in one of their specials, when they're like Applebee's plus Max, everything's a Max or a plus. Apple TV Plus, HBO Max.
Yeah. Well, I still I can't stream everything because I'm old man enough that I want to get my local news. I do like to get my local news in the morning because I hate watching the national news.
Oh, they're all garbage. Like Fox, CNN, MSNBC, they're just nothing but garbage.
Yeah, so I but also I get all the cattle auctions on like Dish Network or Dish Network, and so I just I enjoy that, but so I tend to watch. We have like Roku and everything, but I watch Curse of Oak Island. Have you ever watched that show?
No, that was the History Channel one, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it's kind of interesting. I won't explain the whole story, but there's something there. But they just, I don't know, like 300 years ago, 400 years ago, they buried a treasure down there. And there's proof that there's maybe something down there. But these dudes are digging for this treasure. It might be I don't know, a bunch of gold or Ark of the Covenant or something. But I watch it with my wife and she gets fed up and just goes to bed. And I'm like, oh, they're about to find something. And no, they don't. They find a rock that might contain a little bit of gold or something, but
It's
But
like Axemen. You're just like it cuts to commercial break, and they're like, "It is. Are they gonna come to blows?" And then no, they never do. They never do. Like the
yeah,
guy either gets fired or they hug it out, and then the show keeps on going. You're just like, oh god damn it, you got me again.
they bro it out.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Uh, uh, bro. See, South Park. Uh, Let me get your take on this, because I think you're pretty much in agreement with me. Like South Park might be the best political commentary of all time, like because and just how they made that show is so fucking genius because they're like this shit is as easy enough for a kid. So like we're gonna have our main characters be kids, but they're living in an adult world, and then they show how stupid the adults are because at the end of the episode you think the adults are finally gonna catch on, and then no, they go a completely different way. And they just they never pull any punches. Whoever is being the retard, that's who they talk shit on. And like
Yeah,
it's some of the smartest political commentary out there, and it's from an adult cartoon that specializes in dick jokes and fart humor.
right. Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's true. You know, it's the world we live in too.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's just so funny. Like there's been several, and it's almost like The Simpsons. You know, like The Simpsons did it. Uh, but like, man, like when they had Mr. Garrison as Donald Trump, and now like especially as like you see Trump now, where he's just like, if you don't agree that the 2020 election was 100% rigged, he's not gonna endorse you, and like he was, you know, he just like that's his thing now, and it's almost like exactly how they put out Mr. Garrison, where it's just like no, fuck them all to death, fuck them all to death, and then he just doesn't want to do anything. Like it just there's it's uncanny how good they have their pulse on on America.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's I don't know. I'm about to hang a "Let's Go Brandon" sign from my cake bin.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, Joe Biden's almost like I almost feel bad for the guy. Like cuz you're just like he shouldn't be there. Like I don't there's nothing redeeming about the guy, but he's a confused old man, and like I just feel bad. Like they're just like dragging him out there and pumping him full of cocaine or whatever the fuck they got going in him, and you're just like, can you just let him be a dumb old bastard in peace and not have him be like the leader of the free world? Like,
no, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just it just shows a lot of weakness, in my opinion. You know,
all of it. It just, but like, it just shows how neither side really has a plan either. Like it's just like their plan is to keep the other side out of power. Like
yeah,
the whole thing behind Joe Biden was like, hey, people know who Joe Biden is because he was just a vice president and fuck Donald Trump. So let's get this guy in. And now he's in. They're
yeah,
like, oh, fuck, what now? What now?
yeah,
This guy is shitting himself in front of the Pope. What do we do now?
yeah. Well, it it just baffles me how old these people are.
Oh,
like,
I know.
when you look back at like our founders, how young they were. Like Jefferson, what he was like his early 30s, wasn't he? When
I
he
think so.
wrote the
late 20s, early 30s, if I remember right.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, there's so many, able-bodied people and smart people
Yeah.
that could run for office, and I do not know why we don't have term limits, but they're never going to vote themselves out.
No, and then, but also, like, I don't even know if that makes that much of a difference because go state by state. California has term limits, and look at how bad that state is. They've had term limits for a long time. And so,
Well,
like,
how's
I'm not
Pelosi
saying that
doing?
we shouldn't have them. I'm just saying, like, I don't even know how much good that does.
Right.
And
Right.
it's just like, oh, like we have to, like, we have to start just stripping power away, because like the more power the government has, the more incentive it is for some big company to come in and be like, hey, vote this regulation through, and we'll pretend to fight it because it's bad for our industry, but it's not bad for us. It's bad for like the smaller guys that are trying to break into the industry. Like, let's do that.
Yeah.
And like the more and more they come entwined, where like Dick Cheney was the CEO of Halliburton and then became president and started 2 wars, and Halliburton made so much money off that. And now his daughter is like, they hated him when he was in office, and now his daughter is still a Republican, but she's being like made like the lion of the Republican Party by the Democrats. And it's just like, and it all leads back to just money and power, and it's so gross. All of it's fucking gross, and I don't even know where you start.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's, which I'm extremely pro-Trump, just because I think he was exposing a lot of that stuff,
Well,
and uncovering a lot of.
There's a lot of times I don't even think he meant to, but he just said the shit out loud that you're not supposed to say out loud.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I honestly think that he upset the apple cart on both sides of the aisle.
Well, obviously, he pissed a lot of people off, because I've never seen anything like that before. Like, the right wing came after Obama pretty hard, but nothing like they came after Trump. Like that was something different.
Right. Yeah. I in my opinion, Trump was the right asshole at the right time.
Yeah.
And I wish we would have had 4 more years,
Well,
So,
I think so too. I give him a lot of shit, and I think deservedly so. But at the same time, phew, I was saying, I forget who I was talking to. But back in the golden days of Trump, when we had some spare running cash, like it was a lot easier to grow a business. I know that, like there's a lot of shit that if we had Trump prices back, I could do a lot more stuff with this podcast. Just because we had a little more cash in our pocket, and as much shit as I give the guy, man, I would far rather have him in office.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's hard to gauge. If you have to go in and pay for gas, like, all right, how many gallons does my tank hold?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 60 might do it. No, more like 90.
Yeah.
For 100.
Yeah. Well, now,
So,
the one I'm driving now has got like a 40-gallon tank, and that thing hasn't been completely full in a little bit. Like I used to fill that thing all the way, and That was like a 2-week deal of commuting back and forth to work. And yeah, now like I punch in 125 and that's it. Like that's my budget for the week. And like,
Yeah.
fuck, like what was it? It was like 08, 09 when gas got around $4 a gallon. Like that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
This is worse than that.
Oh yeah. Well, and like fertilizer and just like cake and protein like for cattle. I mean, I prefer like cake for cattle, but it's become more feasible. I mean, to each your own, but I mean, I'm about to switch over to tubs, just because it's just not. I mean, some of this cake's running, in our country. Like, I contracted some for cheaper, but I think current price is like $440, $450 a ton for cake. So
it's getting to be almost unmanageable.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, and that's why, like, that your conversation earlier with like Corbett Wall. I mean that it just what aggravates me so much is like I was up in the mountains a couple of weeks ago. We kind of had a nice weather and we were kind of slowing down with Kevin and we went up there and uncooked ribeye was like, and it wasn't even a good ribeye. I was in a little grocery store and it was like $20.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, who would, and this sounds really bad, but like, if I was in the cattle business, why would you pay for that? Like, pork is really good. And, and you can feed a family, like for that $20, you can buy, that many pork chops for like your wife and you and your kids,
Yep.
and it's so sad is like none of that money is on that ribeye is going back to any rancher or anything, and it's just draining rural America of its wealth, and that's why you're seeing all these towns dry up. Like we were talking about, like small towns and everything, like no kids in schools and everything.
Yep.
Well, that's why is there's no wealth going back into rural America, and I mean, I'm totally free market, but I'm all about just a fair playing field,
Yeah.
So,
Well, and and I'll like me and Aaron talked, and I thought Aaron did a really fucking good job on that. Like he did his research and had listened to several of Corbett's episodes and read the bill, and I thought he had some really, really good questions coming from like an outside perspective.
I thought that was great that you had like kind of a city guy talking.
Well, and for as many dick jokes as me and Aaron tell, like we're both pretty smart guys and have kind of know this stuff pretty well. And so yeah, like as you saw, like we can turn on like the serious mode. I still haven't been able to turn on the filter a whole lot, but that's the great thing about Corbett is he don't have much of a filter either. And
right.
Now I really, really enjoyed that conversation, and I think Corbett did too, and I'd love to have him back on. He agreed to it anyways, but like I look forward to like I don't know if it'll be a regular type deal, but just like when something catches my mind, like there's something big happening, like it's good to know that guy. And like there was a reason I asked him to go back to the beginning of how this thing started, and and I wasn't for sure how well he would do, but my God, he knows this shit in and out. And I just like man, he did a great job too. Like Aaron had some really great questions. I thought I had some good questions, and I think Corbett, from especially from a historical background and how we got to where the fuck we're at now, man, he did a fucking awesome job.
Oh yeah, yeah. I that Corbett Wall, I think he's great. I mean, I grew up listening to Evan Slack and on the radio, and I like, Corbett Wall was just a breath of fresh air. Not that Evan Slack was bad, but he gives his opinion, if something's shitty or whatnot, and I just appreciate that a lot. So, yeah. But of course, granted, Evan Slack was on AM radio and everything.
Right.
So
right, but hey, AM radio may not be a thing for much longer. FM radio may not be a thing for much longer, and that's why I I made that point on to Corbett that like you really should have this as a podcast, and I visited with him a little bit afterwards, and he's got a reason that he doesn't, because he wants it to be relevant and not like the YouTube setting works a little bit better for him, because it puts his newest videos up front, and then they get the most traction. But that's the same way with podcasts. Like your newest every day, your newest episode is gonna generate the most downloads, and and from experience, like as far as like a guy being on the go, a podcast is way better than YouTube, because you could just hit play, put your phone in your pocket, and forget about it. But if you're playing on YouTube, you got to make sure, like, and especially if like you're working outside and you get a little sweaty, and then like you get some sweat on your screen, it's going to pause it, and then it's going to lock your phone, and then you got to unlock your phone, and then you got to hit play again, and it's very much a first world problem, but it's fucking annoying.
Well, yeah, like I don't have a new enough cake wagon that has Bluetooth, but I have like a Bluetooth FM transmitter deal off Amazon that I throw in the cigarette lighter, and it's not even on English. I think it's on like Korean or some language, but whenever it speaks whatever, I know that it's hooked up to to the Bluetooth, so I'm good to go. So anyway,
yeah,
but that's the nice thing is then I just turn it on, and I can be feeding cattle and listen to Corbett Wall or whoever. So
yeah, but burning daylight. God damn it.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I'm just teasing. No, we
No, you're a usual listen. So
well, I appreciate that. No, like, and like I like Mackenzie's program a lot too. I really like
she does a great job.
I listen.
She's knowledgeable and smart
and quick and concise and right to the point. Like she very rarely goes over 10 minutes, and I know that because I post all those to my feed. After she posts them to Facebook, and but I like her style. And I probably listen to more of her. Well, I know I listen to more of her episodes than I do my own. Like I don't often go back and like listen through the full episode. I just go back and make sure the sound quality is good. But I put hers on when I'm feeding horses, and I don't know. I just think she does a good job. And then Jen Hill is doing her she's doing a Black Hereford podcast and we're kind of doing it through trying to build like a little podcast network. And so we got that going on, and I'm like, I don't know, there's a couple other people I think would be good if I can convince them to do a podcast, but I'm not ready to take on any more work on my end on just yet. So, but I don't know.
That sounds awesome.
I just want to I want to turn my feed into like, I've got a pretty decent audience going, and I think it's going to grow a lot more. Like I'm going to try to get on to as a guest on some bigger podcasts and help grow this thing. But I'd love to just like every day of the week, or at least Monday through Friday, have something new on my channel, whether it's something I put out, or if it's Mackenzie or Jen or somebody else. But like, just for the ag type people, just have something good, like good content every day of the week. Like if nothing else, you can go to Burnin Daylight and find a good episode. And that's kind of what my goal is.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome. So,
well, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
So yeah, that's we're working on it, and there's some people that I kind of got in mind to do some stuff, but it's I don't know. Yeah, once you start doing it, you find out it's more work than you thought.
Right. Oh, I know. Yeah, that's not like anything. Yeah. Yeah. It creates its own monster. So.
Yeah. How's the boys doing? I haven't seen your boys in, well, I think your younger one. I don't know if I've met him yet, but they're getting big, I imagine.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Brig, hell, he's 5, and then Dax, he's 3, but oh gosh, they're ornery as hell. So,
yeah.
But they're at that age, 5 and 3, that they learned how to fight with each other. So you have to break up a lot of fights. And
well, they probably stopped shitting themselves at this point, so that's at least they're not fighting and shitting at the same time.
Yeah, that's a lot better. Yeah, they've kind of quit that. But I didn't align myself real good. Like, I have a good broke horse, but he's huge. He's like you've probably seen him.
Yeah, your
big
Smoky
gray
horse
that I ride.
Yeah.
Well, no, Mickey.
Right.
But hell, he's huge, and he's just so big for even a kid's horse that Laura and I pretty well had just like a broke horse and then like colts. And, so we're kind of trying to figure out how to get some like kids horses around or something.
Oh man,
just because.
Wait it out a few months, because I think the horse market's going to crash pretty hard here.
Oh, well, that's my problem. I'd rather spend money on cattle than I would horses. Mm. I'm sorry, but
no. That's
more...
You're a rancher, not a cowboy, so it makes sense. But yeah, like the horse market has been absolutely ridiculous the last couple of years, ever since COVID. That is one area where I was so wrong. I thought nobody was going to spend money on horses during this thing, but man, I got so far behind the ball that horses got out of my range. But I can see pretty quick, alfalfa's running about $400 a ton right now, and yeah, you're gonna start seeing some horses get unloaded for pretty cheap, I think.
Yeah, it's baffled me, the prices. Like, you see like prices of horses up there at that Billings Livestock.
Oh man, yeah.
And I'm just shocked, and I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'll probably piss off a lot of your listeners. There's nothing I hate worse than going to a horse sale. I mean, I love going to a bull sale.
Yeah.
You know, but because bam, every 30 seconds they sell. You know, a horse sale it takes to sell a damn horse. You know, and I just I guess each your own, but I guess I'm a rancher. I just would way rather buy bulls than I would a horse. So anyway,
No, I mean, that's just how it is. There's no shame in it. You're a rancher, not a cowboy, but no, I've only been to a handful of horse sales in my life, and I don't know. I just don't mind going to a cow sale. I like going to bull sales. Bull sales are pretty fun. Um, most horse sales, like sure enough, like legit horse sales outside of just like the auction, your standard auction barn. I can't afford those horses, so I don't have much fun at them. Like those big horse sales, they're for people that they ain't for cowboys. They're for rich
right?
folks.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
But I mean, I
Well,
don't mind seeing them just run through the auction. I kind of like watching that. But yeah, like a legit, sure enough, horse sale. Everything's out of my price range.
right. I know. Yeah, and I honestly, in my opinion, I'd rather just have a 2-year-old and just know what I'm getting instead of a stack of lies. And
Yeah.
That's honestly how I view buying a horse anymore. And
Well,
at least
yeah, and like you get to some of those breeders, and they couldn't tell you what that horse looks like, but they can tell you their papers, and I get that whole deal. Like you a set of papers, but fuck, you can sell the shit out of them. But at some point, I want to know what that horse is gonna do because I'm gonna be on that horse's back at some point. So like
right.
I want to know what I got. And at some point the papers just kind of like I don't care that much. It's like I want to know what the horse is.
Oh.
But
Are you still?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm good. Anyhow, yeah, it's wild. Where do you where do you think the cattle market's going in the next, like, 3, 4, 5 years?
Well, I think 23 is going to be good. I mean, if everybody has enough grit and money and wherewithal to put their cattle through this drought, because I mean, this drought is,
That's bad.
yeah. I mean, hell, it's not just Southern Plains. It's I mean,
It's kind
it's
of
still up
everywhere.
and yeah, it's everywhere. I mean, and politics aside, I mean, yeah, it'd be wonderful if they pass all that stuff and that contractor library and all that. But those Packers, and I agree. There is a cattle cycle roughly, and it's about a 10-year cycle. And you look at when prices were real good. That was 14 bull market.
Yeah.
And I think we're coming kind of back around there, and it's kind of because of drought and everything.
Yep.
Their heifer retention is way down, and I honestly think that I don't know if we're going to see. I think calf prices are going to be better this year. The only thing is this corn. I mean, corn prices and this Ukraine thing, but shit, you got to give these guys something to to feed fat cattle. I mean,
Yep.
you know, you got to throw them a bone, and even the packers know that.
Yep.
And so I think they're, you know, the packers, they don't care if you're, you know, mouth below water. They just want to keep your nose above water.
Yep.
You know, and they're going to make damn sure their nose is above water, even these feed yards, to keep them wanting to feed cattle. So I do think calf prices are going to be up a little bit, but I think 23 is going to be really interesting, because I think that's when it all comes to a head. You know, especially from last year, you know, there was enough early wean calves that our inventory is not quite showing up yet. You know, those guys were up north, were able to wean off enough calves early that I don't think it screwed up the inventory too much. But I think 23 is going to really show where it's at, you know, and it's going to kind of come to a head. And I think calf price, I think that's when things might get good. It's just if you can fight through the drought and not try to bankrupt yourself trying to feed these cattle through a drought. You know? So.
Well, and if we're going, you know, like on an exact like 10-year cycle, so we probably got another tough year ahead of us, and that's and then, you know, and that's when rain hits and stuff kind of turns around. But yeah, it's I think, I don't know, like you kind of have the same view on economics as I do, and like we're due for something big to happen, and then like it's probably not gonna feel good. I know that. I don't know if it's gonna be disastrous, but it could be.
Right.
But at the very least, it's not gonna be fun.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's, you know, we were talking earlier. I think a guy just needs to be conservative, and I don't know. I mean, I could be completely wrong. You know, if I was right and a good market analyst, I mean, I wouldn't be doing what I was doing. I'd be shitting in tall cotton and owning a real fancy ranch. And I don't know, the sand hills, Nebraska, where it rains all the time, and you dig a post hole and you hit water.
Yeah, no shit. So. Or you move down to some foreign country like Uruguay or something, and just buy all the land. You know, just buy the country, essentially.
Right. Right.
But yeah, it's I don't know, like even if you go back to like the economics we learned in high school, and like I tend to lean more towards like the Austrian school economics nowadays, but like you just look at how inflated the US dollar is, and then now like you got Putin like, you know, calling Europe's bluff with his oil and saying you're going to buy in rubles. Like, that's a big step towards making the US dollar almost worthless. And if man, they're like we're looking at a hyperinflation situation if things don't go our way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's why I mean, I have friends ask why I drive an older pickup or something like that, or things like that, you know, and I don't think a guy wants to have a whole lot of debt, you know.
No.
I mean, or if you have debt right now, it better be fixed.
Yeah.
Because you know, I think it's fixing to be like the 80s, you know, and I didn't, we were too young to go through the 80s. You know, my dad was kind of a farm loan officer before we kind of came back on the ranch after my granddad passed. But, you know, that always bugged him a lot, you know, is he had to deal with deals like that in the 80s. And, I think a guy has got to really, you know, do you really need that new pickup or something, or can you make it work? So,
Yeah.
but,
No, I think you're right. It's like I don't adhere to all those old conservatives. There's some very and especially just the fiscal responsibility. And I'm not the best at that by any means. I'm not honestly just not that great at it, but I also like it gives you a lot of respect for like those old Mormons where they're like, hey, like you were required to have a year's worth of stuff, years worth of food stored up. So when shit hits the fan, you're not gonna starve out in the first couple weeks.
right. Yeah, it's, and well, we've talked on like gosh, it's probably been a couple of years ago since I was last on your podcast, but, my mom, she was hell bent, and I mean, I wouldn't be sitting on the cows I have now if it wasn't for her.
Mm-hmm.
And, but she was smart and, played her cards right, and she was stubborn enough that, we fought through a drought, but, it's just, it's tough. I mean, and everybody has different, you got to pull the ripcord at some time.
Yeah.
So, but,
Yeah, it's
but,
yeah, I like, but also your mom had seen droughts before, so like she also knew like, hey, we gotta we gotta ride this thing out, otherwise we're not gonna make it. So I mean, it wasn't so much that she was smarter than you, but it's just that experience that comes into play too.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. It's funny, you get older and, the people you knew when you were younger and have passed on, you just kick yourself because you
Yep.
didn't ask the questions that you should have, and, just like my folks or even former bosses, you just kick yourself. And,
I know. I feel the
you know,
same way. Like that's why I posted that Angus McIntosh again. Because I really wanted to hear him and my dad talk about private property rights and groundwater rights, and now Angus has passed on and like that. So that's never going to happen. But man, that would have been a really really cool conversation.
right. Oh, I know. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Same thing. I mean, just, there's been, I worked for, a couple pretty wealthy men back in the Flint Hills of Kansas. And, they were kind of the big ballers, for stalker guys, back in the Flint Hills. And, I kick myself all the time. They were, and hell, like one of them, one was like a billionaire. Like I only talked to him like once a year.
Yeah.
But, I was always amazed by him. Like the one time I talked to him every year, he would remember, and I wasn't married yet to Lauren, but, he would remember my name and remember Lauren's name. And, I was just shocked that a billionaire would actually like, remember that, cause I was just a peon. But I thought, that's probably what made him successful, was showing respect to just peons,
Yep.
and, I was always really impressed with that. But like the other guy, I mean, he was very wealthy as well. He was from Kansas City, and hell, he'd always invite me to go and, ride with him and go look at the cattle in the feed yards, kind of in central Kansas. And, And we'd ride in the the pickup together, and I mean, I was just young, and I'm just like, just even this last week, like going back in that country, I was like, why in the hell didn't I ask him like all these other questions?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just thought, man, talk about wasted opportunity. I mean,
Yeah.
and I asked him plenty of questions, but man, I mean, he was a wealth of knowledge, and I mean, like self-made and everything, and I kick myself all the time about that.
Oh
So,
yeah.
but
Yeah, it's yeah, and then once they're gone, you're just like, well, shit, there's that. Like that don't you don't have that chance anymore.
oh, I know, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, you gotta, you know, and those guys want to offer the information. They want to do it,
Mm-hmm.
if you just ask them,
Yeah.
So,
That's one of
and
the
if you don't act like a dumbass too,
yeah.
if you are respectful and don't act like a, you know, a jingle jangle taco hat dipshit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
exactly.
you know, act like you want to be a cattleman.
Act like
Those
you've
guys
been
will,
there a time or two. Even if you haven't. At
yeah,
least act like it.
yeah, those guys will do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, but no, that was a hell of an experience in Flint Hills that I had. I mean, I'd never, like, there was one pasture that we had like 20. Oh, I mean, for me, I came from, I mean, we're from the same country. It's all
Mm-hmm.
cow-calf, and that country back there, I mean, it was like just all yearlings, and but shoot, we gathered this one pasture, and it was like, had a yearlings, all Mexican cattle. And I remember we had I think it was like 55 headed or 55 trucks lined up to load them out,
Oh yeah.
and I mean, it was a hell of an experience. I mean, you had to have quite a few guys to gather that many headed yearlings, and it was a good experience for me back there. So,
Well, I
but
feel the same way about JBS. Like like I don't want to ever go back there, but I learned so much in that year and a half that I was there. Like when that Flint Hills run hits, I weighed or I unloaded and weighed 42 loads of cattle in 3 hours, something like that, by myself. And
and those damn Flint Hills cattle would always show up at 5 o'clock. Remember that?
oh yeah, always, or they showed up like right as you would clock out for lunch, and then you'd come out of the office and see just a line of trucks, and you just fuck, all right, and you just go back in and clock back in, and just you were busy for like the next 3 hours, and
Yeah.
and it was that's just how it was, and like I don't miss it at all, but man, I learned so much during that. And I learned about cattle buyers. I learned about truckers. I learned about just dealing with people in general. And I learned real early on that I like cattle a lot more than I like people.
Yeah. 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 One thing that always, discourages me, I kind of do a little bit of selling cattle a little bit. And, a lot of those cattle truck drivers, they just want a friend to talk to,
Yeah.
and, I always wanted to buy them donuts. And I used to be able to buy them donuts like in the Flint Hills, because I had a gas station that, you could buy that at and everything. And around here, I don't, and, but I always get so aggravated at people that treat cattle truck drivers like shit. Because a lot of those guys, like, especially these days, could be making better money doing, like, driving for a Swift truck or something.
Yeah.
But they don't,
They're the cowboys of the trucker world. Like,
Yeah, and I have a soft spot for those people, and I always get real aggravated at people that treat, and some of them are dumbasses, but
There's a lot of dumbasses. A lot.
yeah, but some are really good that
No,
get treated like crap that don't need to be,
no, and I
and
always try to treat our truckers with respect. I just like you know what I'm talking about when like you're just like it's a dumbass trucker move because like they'll either hit the chute going 15 mile an hour or
yeah,
or just something and you're just like fucking truckers and but it makes you appreciate the good ones like like the guy that I work
oh yeah,
that owns the place I work for, he's got his own fleet of trucks and they're all Mexican guys, but like I know each and every one of them, and they're really pretty dang good. Like they know when to push in the tub and when not, so they're not running cattle over the top of me. And I really appreciate a good cattle trucker. Any cowboy does or any rancher does because I'm like
oh yeah.
your
The good
cow.
ones you got to have. I mean, they're just as good as your best cowboy.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
absolutely, and because more than anything, your cattle are going to get there in good shape, like that, and that's the biggest thing of all.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I know.
It's so yeah.
Yeah, they're.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. I have a funny story. One time we were hauling cows off corn stalks, and cows were pretty heavy bred, and I was afraid we were loading the truck a little too tight and everything, and it was one of our local truckers, and he's kind of an ornery bastard, and I said, well, I think we're getting them on there too tight. I think maybe we should take a couple off, and he goes, oh no, I'll just take corner a little bit hard, and they'll throw one down on the floor and loosen them up a little bit.
and I can picture your reaction, and like me and it. See, this is why you need to sign up for the Patreon, folks. Is we were talking about you on the last Patreon Fence Post
Oh,
Politics. Like an uncomfortable Clint Mundell is like the highlight of my life. I love uncomfortable Clint Mundell. Like it gives me unspeakable joy to just see you uncomfortable, and I could see you when that trucker makes a joke about just sliding a cow down to free up space. I can see you just like and cringing, and I love it. I love it so much.
yeah, yeah. I'm wound a little too tight. I probably am.
Yeah,
My wife has to keep me in check.
it's all right though. I just I like me and Aaron were talking just like I live for that uncomfortable moment, like just so I can watch the uncomfortableness, and you're you're one of my like most easy targets, and yeah, I exploit that a lot.
Yeah.
Like and not even to tell anybody, just for me, just like I just like watching Clint Mundell get uncomfortable. Like I don't know what about it. It brings me joy.
Well, it happens, and I'm becoming more and more like my dad. If I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
already.
yeah, you are. But that's not a bad thing. Like we used to make.
I always take it as a compliment.
Yeah, we used to make fun of Homer plenty, but like I respect that. I respected that man a lot. So
Oh, I know. I know.
it's yeah. Well, I'll give you shit forever and ever over that. But yeah, it's a good thing to follow those shoes. That's yeah. Homer was a good dude.
Oh, he was. Yeah. Yeah, man, a few words. I think luckily I took after my mom a little bit. And I can speak a little bit more than him, but But yeah, he he very man of few words, but everybody respected him. So
Yeah, what was
but,
funny is how much shit you guys would give him about going to the coffee shop, because he was, like you said, he didn't talk at all. But man, he loved going to the coffee shop, and you guys would just rip on him constantly about going to the coffee shop.
oh yeah, and like a couple years before he passed, we leased some corn stalks, and kind of had a cantankerous neighbor, and I won't mention any names, but he's just kind of the community asshole. And I think my dad almost wanted to pick a fight, and he was not driving on his field or anything. He just was driving down his field road, and the guy pulled him over and wanted to fine him $200 for driving down his field road, and my dad said, "Well, just call the sheriff." and well, I guess the guy did, and anyway, he was calling my dad everything but a church boy.
Yeah.
And and my dad had a coffee cup, and it was empty, but he just threw it at him. And it was right during corn harvest, so all the corn truck drivers were watching these two old bastards fight, over, driving down a field road.
He wanted to fine him $200. That's awesome.
$200, pass fee.
Did I text you the other day? That's outrageous. Like
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I forget what happened, but I was driving back from somewhere the other day, and some jackass from California, go figure, like switched lanes 3 times and just about crashed every single person. And then, like, once he got around him, drove straight as an arrow, and I was just like, "That's outrageous!" And then it reminded me of old Homer. And man, what a like! And so like I know you appreciate the whole uncomfortable part, because uncomfortable Homer was the best Homer.
Oh yeah,
like he was Hank Hill, just.
Yeah. We're done with this jackass festival.
Oh man, yeah, he was no nonsense, but he was, oh god, he was so funny about it, like just.
Oh, I know, dry humor.
Oh, and it was just a caricature of what a rancher should be. I mean, he was 100% rancher, but he was also like 100% cartoon character.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, his favorite move was to pull up on the county road, like, and you knew shit was going bad, like, cows were out or some problem.
Yeah.
He'd pull up and keep looking forward in the pickup, and then slowly roll down the pickup window, and this is before electric windows.
Yeah.
Roll it down hand crank, not looking over to you, and he would roll it down and then look over to you.
Yeah.
Like,
he was dramatic as shit. It was funny for the most undrama guy. Like he was so dramatic, like that, like the window crank, or like you remember when we were going on our senior trip, and like we left out of your house, like we had like your brother's bachelor party, and we drank a little bit there, and then we were going on senior trip, and your dad gave us the ass out hug. Like, it was just the most awkward thing ever. But he also is like, I gotta hug these boys because I just gotta do it. But I don't like
Yeah.
I don't like touching people.
Right.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. But
what was that story where because I know your mom was gone or something, and Homer was cooking broccoli.
oh, well, no, he this is a better story than the broccoli story.
Okay.
He Mom was gone and we had no eggs or bacon, and like he needed a full course breakfast every day, like otherwise he truly got sick like at 9 o'clock if he did not have eggs and bacon or sausage or something, so anyway, but we were out of all that. Mom was gone, and I think she was gone with Justin, and I was just home with him. And anyway, the only thing that he had was a Pop-Tart, and which I'd never seen him eat a Pop-Tart ever. Well,
sorry, I'm sorry. I've heard this story before, but it's sorry. Go ahead.
So anyway, he decided to cook a couple Pop-Tarts. Well, anyway, I don't know. He had the toaster set on 5 instead of like 3. Well, when they popped out and he picked them up, they just scalded his hand. Like burning hot frosting and everything. Just, I mean, burn his hand. Well, pissed him off, and so he took like a pot and just beat him. Like a frying pan, like out of sheer anger of burning his hand. Well, I was like downstairs. Well, I come up and I see this destroyed 2 Pop-Tarts. I mean, all over the counter. I mean, they're just like in 500 pieces. And I said, well, what happened to the Pop-Tarts? And he said, I don't know. Toaster did it.
God damn it. And like for everybody listening, like that didn't know Homer Mundell, like just picture Hank Hill saying that in his boxers.
Yeah.
Oh, what a goober. He was oh, god damn it, he was funny. Like
Yeah.
oh, like my word. I just picture it. Like he's just like, oh, fuck this shit. And then have to provide an explanation for it. No, the toaster did it.
The toaster did it. Yeah.
And for a guy that is the most like calm, composed man on earth, just like in a blind fit of rage, just smash a Pop-Tart.
Well, and you can attest to this, Matt. Like, he was a few words and like not a like loud, boisterous guy. But
no, not at all.
But like every kid in high school wanted to go brand for him.
Oh yeah. Well, he ran a really good branding crew. He was strict, but he also like he didn't rip your ass if you fucked up. Like he would go talk to you, but like he'd always like kind of pull you to the side. Like he was
Yeah.
it was a good branding to go to. And then
Yeah.
like once the calves were branded and everything was turned back out, like it was a pretty good party. Like I mean, it wasn't like it didn't get real wild, but like your mom cooked a hell of a meal, and and
Oh gosh,
and
it was like
home
Thanksgiving.
and Homer didn't spare on the beer once the work was done. But like there was no beer to be had beforehand. But once the work was done, like yeah, it was a good time. Like he had no problem with you guys with his hands just getting a little loose, and yeah, and your mom, like, legendary Brandon meals, legendary.
Best cobbler I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Peach and blueberry and
Oh,
everything. So
when we had to go back out after lunch at your Brandings, that was the worst times of my life, because I would just you're just like, ugh, fuck. Like I was so
yeah,
full, so full.
there's always a few blue rag bandits on the creek.
Yeah,
Shop towels.
yeah. Oh man, it was that her roast beef was something else. Like I like it. I don't know. Maybe it's just being coming from poor part of the world that happens to have a lot of beef, but like I appreciate a good roast. And man, like we had roast every Sunday, and so it was like I love a good roast, and your mom's was like right at the top. Like I don't know if I'd say it was the best one, but it was like it was always in the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it always depends on who you're talking to, who has the best one, but like Sandy's was always in the conversation, and those Brandon meals were, yeah, they're pretty epic.
Yeah, she was good at it. She always stressed over it, but I think she loved it too, So
Oh yeah.
But
I I do miss like calling your mom on the phone. I talked to her for a couple hours too, and it was I always enjoyed it. Like I didn't do it as much as I should have, but I really enjoyed visiting with Sandy.
oh yeah, she's a sweetheart. I mean, well, probably the best person I ever. I mean, she just was like an angel.
Oh man,
she was just a nice person.
Everything was. It didn't matter what was going on in her life. It's just like, no, let's sit down and have a good chat, and cup of coffee, whatever. Just like, yeah. No, I always enjoyed visiting with her, and then um, like Rebecca never got to meet my mom, but I was always glad that she got to meet Sandy, because they were, they were very close, and she, yeah, like my wife and Sandy had a really good relationship too, and that always meant a lot to me.
But yeah, no, that's yeah. I mean, she was a tough lady. I mean, heck, she fought cancer with your mom, and she was tougher than I ever could have been.
Man,
and
yeah, she really was.
so
She'd always
but
talk down about herself too, but she's like, "Oh, I'm kind of a wimp," and yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, Sandy. Like, you're going through a lot more than we are, but like, she was, yeah, she was a hell of a good lady. I do miss her.
oh, I know. Yeah, that was her fault. Is she was so tough she'd hide it from you,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't know how bad she was hurting, at the end and
Yeah.
stuff, and it but she was more concerned about other people. So
Yep.
But
No,
so
great lady, for sure.
yeah.
Hey, before we like we've been at it shit almost 3 hours now.
I know. I feel like Alex Jones episode or something.
I know it,
So
but before we get out of here, you guys got like if you're in Southeast Colorado and that area, you got a pretty good um, beef operation going on.
yeah, like our box beef and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, yeah, we were doing like nationwide and stuff, but
shipping's a son of a
logistically
bitch.
with like shipping and can you still hear me?
Yeah, I was just saying
Oh,
shipping's a
okay.
real son of a bitch on that, but
Oh, yeah. Well, we're just so isolated that it was creating way more work. I mean, it was successful shipping nationwide, but it was just we have two young boys and everything, and it just was we want to enjoy them while they're young. You never have them back when they're young.
yeah,
So we just kind of took a step back, and we're just going to do like halves and wholes, or even quarters. But yeah, if anybody ever wants something like that, I mean, in our area, I mean, we could sure work it out. I mean, we kind of have a somewhat of a limited supply. It's not like we do our whole herd, but
yeah,
we do that, and it's not like the dinks and oddballs that get sorted off. Usually they're kind of heifers that we DNA test that are maybe not the most fertile for replacements, so we just feed them out. So
yeah.
but
Anyway, dipperlegacy.com, is that where your site's at?
yeah, I don't know if the website's real up to date. I know we have a Facebook and Instagram, and yeah, dipperlegacycuts.com, or dipperlegacy.com. But yeah, I mean, shoot, check us out, or look me up on Facebook or something, or the company, and we sure get in touch with anybody. So
Yeah, for sure. I no, I was really glad when you told me you're doing that, because you guys got really good cattle. Your dad was he was kind of known for that, and
oh
yeah, I mean, and that I'm like I was we were saying with Corbett the other day, it's tough because you're busting your ass out there to make the best beef product you can possibly get, but you're fighting over commodity wages and or commodity prices, and yeah, I don't know. It's a tough market. It's a real tough market right now.
well, that's the aggravating part is if you're not following all these programs, it's really not that you're getting a premium. You're really just getting discounted if you're
Right.
not trying. And I'm not disparaging anybody that's just not doing those programs. It's just for us to do all those programs, it's just trying to you know do as much as you can to get as much. But it shouldn't have to be like that, in my
No.
opinion, for anybody. So
No, and not in the country that we live in, and like I don't know. I'm everybody knows I'm as anti government intervention as they get. But when you already have laws on the books and they're not being followed, like I have no faith that they're gonna enforce them now when they haven't been for the last 50 years, 70 years, I guess. But if you put something new in front of their face, and it gets public attention, they might actually do that. So I don't know. I'm not the best advocate for this bill, but Yeah, it's a lot better than anything I've seen proposed so far that's actually gotten any traction.
Yeah. Well, and you guys kind of touched on that with like Corbett, but you're never going to get this passed with Republicans in office.
Not a chance. Not a freaking chance.
That just, for example, the POS Kansas senators, they're bought and paid for by the Packers. I mean, our local representative, I called in support of that bill, Ken Buck. He's from Greeley. He's a Princeton graduate. But no, he's bought and paid for by JBS and five. And anyway, I just now is the time to support this deal, and it's a trickle down effect. I mean, if you don't think it affects you as a cow-calf man or even a cowboy, it does.
It definitely does. And I was trying to make that point. I don't think I made it all that well, but as you were saying, like Ken Buck is like one of the most conservative members of Congress, but he's probably not going to vote for this bill because he's bought and paid for by the Packers. Kansas, one of the most conservative states in the country, both of those senators probably going to vote against it because American Farm Bureau and NCBA told them to, and Kansas Livestock Association told them to not vote for this. So you take all those people off the table, you better start looking at some Democrats that you can move to your side, and then you're going to have to start talking in the terms of like organized labor, because that's what the Democratic Party has been for a long time, and like you're going to have to change your tune a little bit, but those people can be had. Like they like if they have any like I don't know, and I don't count on them having an ounce of integrity, but you can at least say, hey, this is a left-wing issue as well, and those are the people that are going to be more easily swayed because Joe Biden has endorsed it. So yeah, as desirable as that might be, you're going to have to look for some Democratic support here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, now's the time. I mean, you're just not going to get it. I mean, hell, we had Cool, and I know people will disagree with me, but I think it was good. When Republicans got back in control after Obama, like his midterm, they voted it out,
Oh, yeah.
So you have Democrats, which every once in a while they come in handy once in a while, and
right.
And now's the time that they're handy.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is like, because you're probably not going to get the the Republicans that you really need, like the guys from Iowa and Kansas and Nebraska and Colorado. Like you might get some of them, but you're not going to get all of them like you should. So where do you pick the slack up? You got to go to the Democrats because it's split 50-50. So you're going to have to go talk to those people, and you're going to have to change your pitch, for why you want to do this. You're going to have to put it in their terms. Otherwise it's not going to pass.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It just, there's no reason. It's not like we're wanting to get rich. I'm half as pissed about the consumers getting price gouged on their beef as I am getting screwed on what I get for my cattle.
Yeah.
Because it's all equal. because it's hurting the demand and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's what people, a lot of people understand is I'm just as mad as what it costs at the counter. Because, it's lowering demand for our product.
Well,
And,
like Aaron said the other day when we were talking with Corbett Wall, he's like, hey, when that day comes that I can't afford a steak, that's gonna make a fat kid really unhappy. And
yeah,
like we want that fat kid on our side. Like we want them buying steaks. Because when the price goes too high, they're just gonna stop. And that's the biggest thing. But yeah, it's but when they can decide the only price of what that beef's gonna be, what else can you do? And this bill, if enforced correctly, and that's one of the things we have to do is like remain vigilant and make sure that they're enforcing this shit, because Packers and Stockyards Act is still on the books, but it hasn't been enforced since the 60s. So the big thing about this new bill, should it get passed, it has to be enforced, or we're fucked. Like that's about it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's the biggest thing is if the government it was a good working operation back in the terminal stockyards.
Yeah.
I mean, because I remember my old boss. How many Packers do you think are in that picture? I said, I don't know. I mean, I was young. I said, I don't know, like 6. He said, no, like 16. There's 16 Packers and competition.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, and that's what
I mean,
drives our entire economy too.
Yeah. I mean, my opinion of the government is I'm for as little government as possible. Besides, foreign defense and just a fair playing field.
Yeah.
Some economy, and that gets skewed so many ways. How I said that, but
yeah.
But at least I guess prevent monopolies, which that's what's going on with Packers. Right?
I would just say, just going back to the laws that we have on the books, if they enforce them, we'd be in a lot better forcing them. So forcing the Packers and Stockyards, and I don't know. I think this one's in a step in the right direction, and I don't know. I'm in the same boat. Like, the more competition, the better, because the better product wins out. And so a guy like you, where your dad's been cultivating those genetics for 50 years, yeah, your price your cattle should bring a premium, because they're superior cattle. And whereas now they're not considered superior cattle, they're just not getting docked.
Yeah, they're just not getting docked as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
There's an old saying that goes is, a good business that's worth being in has competition.
Mm-hmm.
If there's business without competition, it's not worth it. and I didn't quite quote that right, but that's from Pat Goggins.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's from, he's passed, but Goggins, they run a fantastic. Well, I mean, they're kind of cattle barons up in Montana, and but it's true. I mean, competition's great. It drives everything.
Yep.
So, and there's no
Well,
competition right now.
It makes you bring your best cattle to market too. I mean, like you're when you're if you've already negotiated that price for the year, like you don't have to change shit. You just have to put out whatever they're paying you for. And if you got a better set of calves, I mean, it'd sure be nice to have a different place to sell them to.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It just
Oh,
I mean, that's kind of the basic principles of capitalism. Is competition breeds innovation, and it creates a better product. That's what made America great. And the biggest thing with these packers is, they've become a monopoly, but it's also like a monopoly on its own cannot stand, because eventually they can't charge a low enough price to win back customers. So a natural monopoly is always going to fall, but these are government propped up monopolies, and
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, so like
Yeah.
there's no chance they can fail, and they're just going to keep raking in profit at the expense
Well,
of guys like you.
Well, and that's the thing is those four Packers, they say regulation, bring it on, because that just keeps out any kind of
Mm-hmm.
entries into the market,
Yep.
because they're big enough, four of them. There's going to be no one entering the market.
No,
I mean,
not a
there's
chance.
people trying to, but they're just going to say, bring on the regulations, bring it on,
Yep.
and that's how they do it,
Yep.
So
Big business loves big government.
right.
Yeah, it's it's a crazy thing, but yeah, I don't know. I hope that thing goes somewhere. I know we're always gonna be here, but I don't know. Things might get tough for a little while, but Clint, I really enjoyed this conversation. We've been at it for quite a while.
I know. I think we got some rat killing done. So.
Yeah, for sure. It was good to pick your brain and catch up with you. So I appreciate it.
I don't know if you learned anything, but
No,
so.
it always learn something. But no, that was fun. We should do it more often.
Sounds good, bud.
All right, man. Hey, take care. Tell the family hi for me.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you, bud.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.